Or ask Reddit, what is a fact that can possibly save your life? I came here to comment something about drowning. I seen lots and lots, maybe hundreds of people in the early stages of drowning, and it definitely not at all like the movies. The movement of the swimmer can alert you to the fact that they are drowning. Most swimmers in my experience exhibit what we call climbing the ladder. Their face is upturned as they gasp for air, and you can see their arms furiously moving as if they are trying to literally climb a ladder out of the water. It pretty well explained in this video. I only had a handful of incidents where the swimmer has shouted, screamed. Definitely the exception to the rule. Always pays to be vigilant around water. It pretty unforgiving. And please always have eyes on children as they play in around water. Probably said already, but bad CPR is better than none. Even if you're unskilled, you literally cannot make the person more dead, as being dead is what predicates CPR. If you have a puncture wound to the chest or abdomen, the first thing you should do is place a non-porous think plastic bag object over the wound. It will help prevent tension pneumothorax. A tourniquet is quite simple to put on and can save a life if there is no other option. Place close to the site or near, not on a joint. Never remove a tourniquet once placed, as clots can travel to the brain and lungs. Also mark the time you put it on. If you're at an accident scene and have no medical training, something you can do is collect information and help calm victims. This is quite helpful as it assists the paramedics with triage and keeps potential injured persons' heart rates down. Alternatively, learn how to hold C-spine. If your car ever gets stuck on the train tracks, look for a sign on the crossing arms. This is the Railway 911 and has a number to call to stop traffic, as well as your exact location. If you've been cut deeply, pack gauze into the wound as tightly as possible, then hold pressure. If you are driving in inclement weather, pay attention to truckers. They are often warned ahead of time of wrecks and things due to their radios. Also, never drive in the rain without headlights. Related, if you are caught in a riptide, swim sideways parallel to the shore. Riptides aren't very large horizontally, so it does and take a lot of swimming to get out of the current. From there you can get back to shore. Edit, for everyone who said tread water, the answer seems to be both and. Some currents work in a way where floating is the best answer, and some are better fit to a horizontal swim. It also looks like it partially depends on the swimmer's competency. Inexperienced swimmers shouldn't fight, or else they can get tired and succumb, while experienced swimmers are able to get themselves out of the current and be aware of the possibility of circular currents. I guess the best answer I can give is to ask the lifeguard before you get in the water where it's safe to swim. Try to stick around areas with other people, and know your own limits. When I was 10, a friend and I got stuck in a riptide in Mexico. No one else on the beach and no lifeguards. It is still the single most terrifying moment of my life. We didn't know what was happening and would swim to shore only to get dragged back out. We started getting tired and it was harder and harder to stay above water. Thankfully we started swimming sideways by luck and made it out. We ended up getting dragged through rocks near shore because we were too exhausted to stand. I came extremely close to death that day. To this day, some 20 years later, I won't go in the ocean deeper than my hips. I read somewhere if a stranger gets in your car and tells you to take them somewhere, drive into something like a lamppost or anything, you won't be useful to them anymore because the car is damaged and you've drawn attention to them by crashing the car. You'll damage your car, but you'll have your life and your bank account. Someone at my college did this a few years ago. The guy told him to drive to the bank and withdraw all his money, so he drove into a lamppost and saved himself. Don't do this if you're an Uber driver. Airplane depressurizes and the masks drop. Put your damn mask on first, as instructed. At 35,000 feet you have 30-60 seconds of useful consciousness. Make it count. If you being tied up, puff yourself out as much as possible so it'll be easier to wiggle out of tense muscles. Inhale deep and stretch out your arms and legs to make more space. If you get kidnapped, try to leave as much traces of yourself behind as you can. For example, leave bits of clothing behind or scratch your arms a lot to leave dead skin behind. This way you increase your chances that a search dog could pick up your scent and find you. I watched a crime show once where the victim left her hair everywhere in her abductor's car. She kept pulling single strands of hair out. When she was taken to the house of the person who took her, she pulled more hair out, touched everything she could to leave fingerprints behind, and even licked multiple places in his house. She managed to escape and they found evidence of her all over his car and house. Slam shut case. I wish I could remember her name so I could look her case up.